If you're anything like me, when you realize you're ADHD, you started going down a path of thinking, right, I need to be productive. So maybe you started changing apps that you're using and systems for task management. Maybe you switched to Todoist or Notion or something like that. And you started loading those up with lots of tasks. And then you're like, great, this is going to work. And then a week later, it wasn't working. So what's going on here? Let me explain to you how our brains actually work and why it is that that isn't the solution, and to give you a way to change how you're using your current productivity system so that it will work better with your ADHD brain. I'm going to do a little diagramming for you to make the point. So let's say you've got lots of tasks here. As you can see, when I've got maybe 5 or 6, it doesn't look too bad. Your brain can cope with 5 or 6. But now, if I start adding more and more and more and more and more and more of these, it becomes very difficult to focus on like a single one, say this one or this one. This might be the admin that you need to do, but you can't see it in amongst the jumbled mess of everything else. And why is that? Well, our brains aren't good at holding too much in our working memories. We have a smaller working memory than neurotypical people do. So when it comes to prioritizing this list or making a decision, you've got to be thinking about number 1, number 2, and number 3 at the point that you're on number 15 and number 16. And you can't hold all of that in one place. So what can you do instead? Well, it's down to how you might categorize this. You might have noticed that ADHD people find it really helpful if we use lots of colors, for example, yellows and reds and things. So I'll draw a different list now. So let's start with a few yellows, and then let's have a few reds, and then let's have a few greens, and then let's have a few blues. Now, you might find that a lot easier to focus on. Maybe you need to focus on this thing here. So what's happened? Well, you've created a separation between those things. It's an artificial separation at this moment. It's just yellows, reds, greens, and blues. But what if they were actual categories of information, things that you had to do? Maybe the yellow here is your admin tasks. Maybe the red here is your customer tasks. Maybe the green is your IT tasks. And maybe the blue is your coaching tasks. And this is going to make things a lot easier for your brain to choose between tasks, because you can choose a category before you choose the actual task itself. And that means you've only got maybe 6 or 7 things to focus on at once and decide between. So a question you could ask yourself on Tuesday is, well, do I want to do some customer tasks or do I want to do some IT tasks? What is it that I want to do right now? That'll give you the opportunity to make things easier for your brain and allow you to just pick from a small amount of options. Give this a go. Whatever system you use, it doesn't matter whether this is an email thing that you want to try it on, or whether you use Notion for your tasks, or whatever it is. Start trying to artificially categorize things and create some separation between them all. If you use a manual system like writing in a pad, you could have a different page per category of information. And when you've got too many things on that page, start again. Rip that page out and copy the things over that are still in there. So give this a go over the next week and see what happens to your task management and your productivity. See you in the next video.